splattering his cloak and the side of his neck. Another scoop burst on the shoulder of Richard's grey. His efforts to control his shying mount left him exposed, and her fourth handful landed a direct hit to his face.
Ha! You're both dead!
She leaped gleefully up and down.
I win! I win!
Triumph burned in her solar plexus. That was showing them. Will was off his horse like lightning. Mahelt shrieked and tried to run inside the shed, but he was too fast and caught her arm. She spun round in his grip and struck his chest with her salve-covered hand, smearing his cloak with rancid grease.
It's dishonourable to strike a lady,
she cried as he raised a threatening fist. Will looked at his bunched knuckles and, lowering his arm, gave her a disgusted shove instead. Look what you've done to my cloak! I pity whoever gets you to wife. You're a hoyden. Mahelt raised her chin, determined not to show remorse or be browbeaten.
But I still won, she said, against both of you.
Will, leave her, Richard said with exasperation, wiping his face. Let's go. There are better places to practice. We'd get more hurled at us in a real battle than handfuls of old grease. With a final glare, Will flung round and remounted Equus. It looks as if you've lost after all, he said, as he gathered his reins. Through a blur of angry tears, she watched her brothers ride away. Raising her hand to wipe her eyes, she found the stink of the salve on her fingers suddenly unbearable. She was cold, hungry, and empty. Her victory was a hollow one, and she was going to be in trouble for wasting the houndkeeper's salve and dirtying her brother's clothes. She returned the pot to its shelf and closed the shed door. When she turned round, she jumped, because Godfrey, her father's under-chamberlain, was standing behind her. "Your parents are seeking you, young mistress," he said, wrinkling his nose. "God's eyes! What have you been doing?"
Nothing.
She gave him an imperious look to cloak her guilt.
Defending the castle.
Godfrey said nothing, but his gaze was eloquent.
What do they want?
Facing both parents at once was generally reserved for serious misdemeanours. Her mother had eyes in the back of her head, but surely she couldn't know about the grease-throwing yet, and Mahelt couldn't think of anything else she had done recently to warrant such a command. "I do not know, young mistress. Your lady mother just said to fetch you." Decidedly on her guard, Mahelt followed him to the solar, pausing on the way to sluice her hands in the trough and wipe them on a net of hay tied to the stable wall. Her mother and father were sitting before the hearth in their private chamber, and she saw a glance flicker between them as she entered. She could sense an atmosphere, but it wasn't angry. Gilbert and Walter, her two younger brothers, were playing a dice game on the floor, and a nurse was attending to her little sisters, Belle, aged 4, and 2-year-old Sabir. Her mother patted the bench, and Mahelt came to sit in the space her parents had made for her between them. The fire embraced her with warmth. The hangings were drawn across the window shutters, and the mellow glow from numerous beeswax candles made the room feel cosy and welcoming. Her mother smelled wonderfully of roses, and the arm she slipped around Mahelt to cuddle her was tender and maternal. Mahelt decided her brothers were welcome to their silly game. Parental attention was better, especially if she wasn't in trouble. She thought it odd that her father was holding her floppy cloth doll in his big hands and looking at it in a pensive manner. Seeing her watching him, he put it down and smiled, but his eyes were serious. "You remember a few weeks ago, the Christmas court at Canterbury?" he asked. She nodded.
Yes, Papa.
It had been lovely, all the feasting and dancing and celebration. She had felt so grown up, being allowed to mingle with the adults. She had been wary of King John, because she knew her mother disliked him, but she thought the jewels he wore around his neck were magnificent. Sapphires and rubies, so her cousin Ella had said, all the way from Sarandib. "You remember Hugh Bigod?"
Yes, Papa.
The heat from the fire was suddenly hot on her face. She picked up her